All right, so we got to see the CyberCab revealed, and it was so cool. But I have a question, Jesse. What is it made out of?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it being cyber, a lot of people thought that it would be kind of like the Cybertruck. And the Cybertruck, of course, is made out of hardened stainless steel, which would sort of make sense for a cyber cab because it would be like dent-proof and bulletproof and scratch-resistant. But it's got a lot of curves on it.
Right.
And you can't really make hardened stainless steel curvy. That's why the Cybertruck looks like a Lego.
I searched all over social media to find someone who had tapped it or brought a magnet or something, and I couldn't find anything. So please, in the comments below, let me know if you found a definitive answer. Is it plastic? Because some people said it was plastic. Is it some kind of steel? I need to know.
I feel like it would make sense to make it the cheapest material possible. And that's why I think it would be plastic, because these things are going to have a lot of abuse. I know that they look very slick and glamorous on, driving around a Hollywood backlot. But I think that really they're going to get banged up. And the cheaper those panels are to replace, and that's going to probably be plastic, the better for Tesla.
Yeah, and also, can't you embed color into plastic so you wouldn't need to do the whole painting step?
That's true. And that way, if it got scratched, it wouldn't rust and it would just continue to look the same, and you could really buff it down, even if the scratch was really deep, and you wouldn't have to repaint.
But where did the CyberCab design influence come from?
Well, QNooks said Demolition Man vibes, and Elon said that was part of the inspiration, to be honest.
And then Steve Jurvetson, who used to be on the board of Tesla, said, from iRobot to We Robot, the uncanny design decoder. And so, yeah, you remember the movie with Will Smith? It seems like a lot of these things came to life at the event.
Now, we did see some video of Optimus taking packages out of a trunk.
I'm not sure if that was the actual CyberCab trunk. It looked just like a Model Y or something.
But it does look like there's going to be tons of trunk space for passengers to put their items into on the CyberCab. And my guess is that when the CyberCab arrives at the destination, the trunk will automatically open if it senses that there's stuff in there, and the passengers will be able to get their stuff out.
Or maybe the Optimus at the destination will take your stuff out for you.
And maybe you weren't even in the car.
Attendees gave the tires a close look, and at least the rear tires appear to be 225/60 R12 tires with huge aero covers. But then a lot of people looked even closer and saw that part of that, what looked like a cover, was just paint. And so that sparked a whole controversy where people are like, that's not real. I think it was for the event. I don't think eventually they will have painted tires. I think they just needed to come up with something quick and fast for the event.
And it makes it look cool.
Right.
You can't make the aero covers cover too much of the tire, because
or else
then
it won't be a tire anymore.
You'd hit a bump and then it would pop the aero cover off, and that would not be good.
I mean, I suppose maybe you could paint the tire. I don't know.
Sure, you can. It's called paint. Goes on to things. I mean, and again, I think everyone needs to take a little step back, take a little deep breath. Are these going to be exactly what the CyberCab looks like? Maybe, maybe not. But yeah, maybe the tires won't be painted. Is that going to be the end of the world? Not really. This was an unveiling event.
Right.
A lot of times, many car companies will unveil a vehicle, a future vehicle, and then it will look nothing, absolutely nothing like their concept. Tesla is actually pretty good about making their unveiling look pretty close to what they are actually promoting at the time.
Yeah, I mean, remember Cybertruck? It looks almost identical, just some little tweaks here and there.
Tweaks.
But it's not like, they unveiled the Cybertruck and it looked like a Cybertruck and then we got just a Ford,
Right. Or at least they don't dumb down the design. Like the first Model X, right? It had the Falcon Wing doors, but it also had the nose cone.
Right.
Then they got rid of the nose cone, but they kept the Falcon Wing doors.
Right. It appears that the CyberCab doesn't have any charge port that we could find, so it appears that it'll charge wirelessly using inductive charging.
And this makes a lot of sense, because then CyberCabs can charge themselves just by parking over wireless inductive charging pads.
However, that doesn't mean that they for sure won't have a plug. We have to remember these were just prototypes.
But Tesla did say that wireless charging was going to be a part of CyberCab.
Yep.
And that makes sense because, you're going to have all these autonomous robots driving around. And if they can't charge themselves, then pretty quickly you'd have a bunch of dead autonomous driving things.
And you'd need either humans or robots to do the charging. So this eliminates that step.
Now, a lot of people are just freaking out. They're like, oh my God, people are going to have to install new charging infrastructure. I think there probably will be a plug. Again, this was an unveiling, and they probably didn't want to show a plug because it's not, you don't have to.
True.
It could be in the trunk. It could be in a frunk that we haven't seen yet. Or it could be that there will be a plug on the side, so that way you can charge it up. It makes sense to me, at least.
Yeah. And that leads to the next thing we learned about at the We Robot event.
In the early days of talking about CyberCab, we got a lot of pushback from viewers who were like, but how are you going to keep it clean? Now, normally in an Uber, for example, the car is kept clean by the Uber driver.
But as Tesla showed in a teeny bit of footage at the We Robot event, they seem to have been developing a vacuum/cleaning robot that can quickly vacuum and clean the interior of the car. So I'm going to conjecture.
Conjecture time.
That these cleaning robots will reside at superchargers or wireless charger locations and will be able to quickly clean the cars.
Now, maybe the interior cameras will sense when the car needs to be cleaned, or maybe it will just happen regularly every charge. But looking at the design of the CyberCab interior, it doesn't look like there's that much need for cleaning.
Right. I mean, it seems like Tesla reduced kind of the nooks and crannies. And my guess is that as this design evolves, they'll be able to minimize even more nooks and crannies that could be kind of hard to clean.
Because when a car company sells you a car, they do not care how hard it is for you to clean that car. That's why you swear at yourself every time you're vacuuming the car and you're like, wow, I didn't even realize that crumbs could get in there. And now there's 10 billion crumbs, in this little spot and in this little spot. And then, the cup holders get all grungy and I have to, lean into the car and try and wipe it all out, and you never get it perfectly clean. That's why people like new cars and they don't like old cars.
If you ever look in the back of like a lot of police cars, they've simplified it because they know it's really going to be full of disgustingness and they make it easy to clean. Same thing in old cabs. If you look at some of the old cabs that were in cities, the whole back seat was just one big bench seat that was easy to clean because it was vinyl. And I think that, they're going for that. It's real easy to clean design. Now, Elon said that the CyberCab should start production in 2026, although Elon admitted that that was an ambitious timeline and that he has been off on his timing before. But he wrapped up by saying that CyberCab would start manufacturing before 2027.
Which is 2026, last I checked.
And from what he said before, it should be manufactured at Giga Texas.
Now, will it only come in the driverless variant, or do you think that there will be a steering wheel and a pedals variant too?
I personally think that it'll only be made without steering wheels and pedals. But what do you think?
Well, we asked our patrons and we'll have their poll results later in the show.
By the way, if you'd like to help support the show and be part of the Patreon poll every week, please join us on Patreon at the $2 a month level. It really helps us out. Hey everybody, thanks so much for watching Now You Know Clips.
You can watch full episodes of Tesla Time News on Tuesdays and in-depths on Fridays. Just click the link down below and head over to the Now You Know channel.